Hi, welcome to our top 8 unconventional zombie list. Now, the list here is unconventional for several ways. One, we didn't do a top 5 or a top 10, we did a top 8. 8's unconventional, but it has a lot to do with Meta Film List and the fact that we're a top 8 or above type list. If your rating is 8, you get on the Meta Film List. Now, the movies we picked aren't rated 8 or above. Only one of them really is. The list is unconventional, beginning to end. Zombie entries that you might not even think of as zombies until you hear Brandon and I explain why they're on the list. So we hope you enjoy the list, and when you listen to it, you'll see like a lot of the movies aren't on the Metafilm list. So watch it, enjoy, and I'll see you at the movies.
Oh, hello! I'm Justin from Meta Film List, and today we're doing a brand new show for you with my special guest star, Brandon Armstrong here.
Hi, how are you?
Super fantastic. Grade 8 is a show where we talk about genre films and break down the best of the genre. Today's film category is...
Zombie movies. Yeah, so the list that we've compiled today is the top 8 of our own choosing. Your list may be somewhat different, but these are our top 8 zombies with some limitations. These zombies are not mystical and they're not demonic. Even if it's a creature that causes mass panic, or in the literal sense, they are resurrected corpses.
Yeah.
Not every single movie is going to be about a resurrected corpse.
Number 8, 28 Days Later. Alright, so this movie came out in 2002. It was directed by Danny Boyle and it stars Cillian Murphy. And I think it really brought on a new wave of the modern zombie era.
28 Days Later is what we consider a more realistic take on what a zombie apocalypse could be in our lifetime or in reality. These are people who are infected by a virus similar to rabies that was essentially called the rage virus, and now these are feral, mindless creatures who just want to kill. It is difficult to stop them. Bullet to the head will stop them.
Shots to the chest will stop them.
After a month or two, or several weeks, they will die naturally. Number 7 is Return of the Living Dead.
Dan O'Bannon was the director. It also had James Karen and Tom Matthews.
And these movies are horror movies, but they have a very strong comedy aspect to them, despite people are getting eaten alive. A moaning zombie shuffling around, moaning for brains.
So this is like a nightmare version of zombies.
They are intelligent but driven. They are the stereotypical we eat brains zombies. The only way you can deal with them is to basically grab them, put them in a can, and lock them up. These zombies can't be killed by being shot in the head. These zombies existed and they became an outbreak. I'd off myself.
Yeah. Number 6.
Dead Alive.
Dead Alive was a Peter Jackson movie, and this movie came out in 1992.
It's a very classic style zombie movie, where the gore looked like your bone was coming out of your skin. Basically, the movie with this one was that there was this rat monkey bite turns someone in, will slowly kill someone. There's a virus within it dying. Their skin peels off and whatnot. You never see those kind of effects now. The 90s and 80s were very much that style.
And the rat monkey from this movie shows up in King Kong on the boat when they're heading off to Skull Island.
Really?
There's a cage, it's all closed off, and it says, "Do not open inside rat monkey."
Oh, cool. It is really awesome to see someone strap a lawnmower to their chest.
The hero, Tim Valmy, straps a lawnmower to his chest and takes on the zombies that way. Just like mowing through them, blood, guts, and gore everywhere.
There's scenes in almost every one of these movies that the scene alone just makes it.
Yeah. So let's do number 5.
Zombieland.
Coming out in 2009, directed by Reuben Fletcher, starring Woody Harrelson, Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, and Abigail Breslin. The movie, I think, really took the how to survive a zombie apocalypse to the next level. One of the best scenes in Zombieland has to be the Bill Murray scene, or any of the rules. Any of the scenes where they talk about the rules, where you get slow-mo zombie action.
My favorite part of the whole movie was Woody Harrelson and his character and how he was portrayed, how he acted throughout the entire movie until you get to the end and you find out the story of his dog has been all about his son. Yeah, it's not all about blood and guts. It's about the people, too. That's why people watch the zombie movies, to see if they survive.
And I have another movie, the next movie on this list, I find does that very well. Number 4.
The remake of Night of the Living Dead, circa 1990.
Yeah, directed by Tom Savini, who previously appeared in Day of the Dead by George Romero. You get Tony Todd, who would later on play Candyman.
The thing I really liked about Night of the Living Dead, and I'm sure is shared by a lot of people, is that it is a remake of the movie. It's not a retelling of it, it's a remake of it. And he took 90% of the old movie and redid it, but this time in color, with updated special effects. The zombies were the situation. They were the atmosphere. They were what made the movie. This is what made the characters come together. It was the interactions between the characters within that situation that made the movie. That's what differentiated the characters. It was their own reactions to the atmosphere, to the situation. The first half of the movie is almost verbatim. The second half is what really changed. But that's what, when you're making a movie between the 1960s and the 1990s, the last half is where all the changes could be made, and where Savini did make them to make the a more modern story, and also brings people back in, brings more people into the George Romero era and the George Romero story. Whereas you wouldn't get too many people watching the 1960s black and white.
All right, so let's talk about number 3 on the list.
Shaun of the Dead.
2004, directed by Edgar Wright, and written by Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg. It stars Simon Pegg and Nick Frost, and it's part of that trilogy.
The Cornetto trilogy.
I find the physical comedy and the cinematography of comedy in it, you know, the cuts, the jumps, you got red on you, like the simple sort of stuff creates a very Edgar Wright-like environment. That's what he does.
The acting was well done, and the story was well written, and it was very new age, classic zombie movie.
And it parodies, but in a serious way. Like, the way it parodies is this is really happening, but, like, as a viewer, it's kind of funny how they're dealing with it.
Yeah, it's very lighthearted. It's like, this is happening to all these average people. This is how average people who are willing to take the risk to get to safety and to try and survive, this is how they deal with it. And of course, the absolutely ridiculous aftermath of that, with all the zombies becoming, you know, they're in TV game shows and they're pets, and exactly turn a tragedy into something they can work with and live with and become normal while they're still while they are still an issue.
Anything else about Shaun of the Dead you think is worth mentioning?
Shaun of the Dead, like you can't not watch the movie and laugh when they're drunk walking home from the bar. If you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Number 2, Re-Animator.
Re-Animator is an utterly phenomenal movie. It's directed by Stuart Gordon. It came out in 1985, stars Jeffrey Combs as Herbert West. The story is based on H.P. Lovecraft's Reanimator book, and is potentially, I think, one of the best zombie movies of all time.
Yeah, and I mean, Lovecraft is very much a cult favorite for a lot of people. The premise to this movie is you have this mad scientist, you could say.
Very Victor Frankenstein type person.
Very much so, played by Jeffrey Combs. He is trying desperately throughout every movie to perfect the serum that he has created that would allow him to bring back the dead. The idea of that movie is that your consciousness is not residing solely within your brain. Your consciousness is residing within every cell of your body. And so if you cut off your pinky finger and you inject it with this serum, your consciousness is within that finger is still there.
It's dark noir comedy. And
absolutely. I don't think this movie would have made it past the first one if it wasn't for Jeffrey Combs.
As Herbert
His
West.
delivery and his just the way he is, I think, make the movie the way it is. They could not have cast it better, and definitely so. I mean, they made several movies based off this character later on, but focusing on the first one alone as the original of the series, it was very, very out there, and compared to other zombie movies, the 1980s was very much a zombie movie era.
All right, so let's talk about our number one.
Number one is Frankenstein, 1930s.
Directed by James Whale, starring Colin Clive and Boris Karloff as the monster.
This is essentially the very first on-screen zombie movie that I'm aware of.
He's the shambling, arms forward, gonna tear you apart monster. He is a zombie.
Frankenstein, this is a corpse, several corpses pieced together, put together, brought back from the dead. He's brought back from the dead. The only story that I know of that predates that is Jesus and London. Biased opinion. So this one is, he's misunderstood. He doesn't want to eat you. He just wants to kill you because you are scaring him. Mm-hmm. You are scaring him.
This monster that he brings to life is not intelligent. It is not capable, but it's very, very simple-minded. It's like a child. Even to today, it holds an 8 out of 10 rating.
Yeah, because it's a classic. You can't fight it. But it was the first of its kind.
I believe it became iconic, and like even today, even like the vaguest of illusions, people get. Like it is ingrained in our society.
Considered such a classic that you can't deny its position.
Frankenstein, the definitive zombie movie, and one of the highest rated zombie movies of all time.
It's definitely worth seeing if you haven't seen it.
All right. So this is Justin.
Brandon.
And like and subscribe. Check out our podcasts and all our other content. Remember, there's more films out there than what's in the cinema right now. There are a treasure trove of classic films that you've never seen. And on Metafilm's list, we've got the list of movies. The top 100 films you have to see before you die. As done by our editor-in-chief, Michael Steinberg. You got anything you want to pitch?
Keep an eye out for the Doctors Society of Canada, the DWSC. We're on Facebook and on Twitter. We're based mostly in Ontario, Toronto, Ottawa area, but we do have chapters opening up all over in the East and West area. Give us a like, give us a shout. If you want to talk Doctor Who or you just want to look at stuff, we go to all kinds of conventions in the Ontario and Quebec area. We are looking to expand wherever we can, wherever people want. Yeah, it was a pleasure, and I hope to do it again with you someday.
Absolutely, buddy. All right, signing off. Homina, domina, domina, homina, 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 ha. And then off they go.